Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means it's something very, 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 very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people who take DMT. And other than that, anything that has something to do with you need validation from other people. You like to socialize, you need validation. You are most likely a person who's a hypocrite, a person who says you're a Christian. Anything that has something to do with some sort of link, escapism, you should not be watching my videos. All right, we got it. Okay, there you go. Your attention spans are too short for me anyway, so I'm not worried about it. So this video is going to be all about democracy. All about democracy. All about the Republican Tea Party, all about independence, all about to be conservative, okay, or whatever political branch you may think you are in, okay. This is going to be my take on it, because I saw this video where this woman was complaining that black people of color thought they were going to get some sort of reparations for all of the suffering that blacks have caused that blacks have suffered back in all of the 200, 300 years. Now, notice how I am, as eccentric as I am. I do not relate to color because we are not technically black people because the color of our skin. I've seen some black people before, and they were darker than this fucking shirt I'm wearing, and I was like shocked. I've seen people with purple eyes. I've seen people who are completely albino, completely white. So white and white, yes, there is people who are completely white. Look it up. Okay? But I want to tell you something about democracy. Please, guys, please don't try to fit in with all that bullshit. I don't really vote. The only time I voted is for Obama and also for Trump, and I stopped voting because you already know they're a dirty bird. They are the wings of the same dirty bird. You should know that, okay? Please get yourself out of that voting system, because the whole point of democracy is supposed to help poor people have a balance, so they can live in society, so they won't be completely stranded or left out in the cold. That's why we pay taxes. America's defenses and offenses is up high because they feed off the blood and energy of the American people, not because of any race. And as a matter of fact, if you want to put race into it, it was all started because of white folks. White folks wanted to feed off their own kind. So think about it like that, okay? Think about it like that. All that democracy, they were poor whites back then. Instead of just putting yourself in the shoes of a black person, please don't do that. You are not black, peoples. There is not one true white person or black person anywhere. Everyone is mixed with something. Everyone is mixed with something. And there's also a curse that comes along with it. If you are a hypocrite and you are feeding into this dragon, okay, this energy of negativity, and you don't read the Bible and you consider yourself a Christian, and after you've been pointed out that it is actually illegal to be homosexual, and it's actually illegal to be rich without profit, without helping your fellow brother, you are not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. And there's also a curse that I heard about, because I know the white man has only been on this planet for only 6,000 years, not millions of years now, okay? Because the Native Americans said that shit. So if you use common sense, they use religion to bind you to be a charlatan, to steal money from you. But there's also a curse that comes along with it, though. And what is that curse? For those who suffer others, they shall be suffered. Even passively, even if they are born into a wealthy family and then they don't realize to be empathetic to the world. If you're not empathetic to the world will eventually come to reincarnate you because you was a slave master, right? You better look it up. You better look this shit up. It's called reincarnation. There are some white people who said they were black, and there was black people who said they were white. So you will take the idea to understand that if you're a wicked person and you constantly think about these things, the universe has its way of teaching you that lesson that you were wrong. All right. So if you're voting Democratic, you're voting Republic, or you were born into those fields of trying to study, it's like a waste of time, because the system is bound to make you suffer, because human beings are naturally what? selfish. We have to have money. We are naturally bound to focus on not giving freely to others who are suffering. It's that simple. And you already know in America, there is 60% of Caucasians. So do you think they were just focusing on that 13%? No, they weren't. They weren't thinking about slavery. They used psychology to destroy you so you can fix yourself. The more suffering there is, the more they profit. That is the top of the pinnacle right there. You have to understand, it doesn't matter what color you are, they're feeding off of white folks too. Because white women were actually the ones who was being the biggest public charges. That blacks were slaves. They had no say-so in anything. So if you consider yourself like them, you are not them. If you want to consider yourself American, that is a good idea. But you have to understand something. There's a system in place to be an American, not an African American, not Caucasian, because there's no such thing as a Caucasian American, right? So why would you call yourself African American? A lot of problems with a lot of people who are Pan-African. I don't believe in Pan-Africanism. Okay, that's just a shell of a person. The color of skin doesn't mean anything. It's the character of the person that means something. And of course, I learned this a long time ago. I said, why do people focus so much on color when it's about the character? Though I do know that there is racism and systematic racism. There is, yes, there is, to keep colored folks because they have this stereotypical thing that black people are all not good. All of them are not intelligent. And when you run across a person like that, you got to tell them, no, there's black people who are just as intelligent as you. Genetically, because they're just born like that. There are people with natural gifts. So then you're going to compare those intellectual peoples versus their own people, because not all of their people are intelligent. There are Amish people out there. There are hillbillies out there. And then you gotta go to the hunky tonks. There's a whole bunch of different types of whites who are just crossbreeds, who are not even well developed, way more farly underdeveloped than the black hood. In the hood, you don't want to go there with me. You don't want to compare apples to oranges with me. I've seen it. Okay? Though hillbillies don't kill each other as much as black folks do, you have to understand there's a reason for that shit. And of course, you gotta hustle. Because if you are a beautiful person, let me tell you how white folks think. The more beautiful you are, the more miserable their lives are. Do you understand why black people exist? Black people exist because of their penis and also their athleticism. That's it. Not because of intellectualism. This is what I learned. Okay? If it wasn't for your big black cock, okay, and your shade of erotic color, okay, you want to call it colorism, fine, okay, all Africans will be dead. And look what's happening to Mephisto over there. What's going on with Trump and everything? I hear all sorts of things going on in South Africa. Hey, he better bow down before it's too late. Because he can get China. He can get fucking Russia. They know better. They know better not to fuck with America. They know that. They have to come together to stop America. There has to be... The only way to stop America, from my perspective, is from the inside. And that's exactly what's happening. It's being destroyed from the inside. And though America is more a capitalist country, a corporation, all the countries know about that. And then we got the World Health Organizations trying to intervene and try to interfere. No, you don't want to mess with the corporation. You don't want to do that. That's why Trump has so much power over South Africa. And there's South African people who are born there. So that's their whole plan, to dissect Africa through crossbreeding. If there's people born there, and then there's Africans around surrounding a white person, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, there'll be black people trying to fight for white people. It's a psychological game, guys. But I try my best not to get involved in that type of stuff, because I'm like, hey, I see my color, I see my features that white people do love, and then next thing you know, I'm snubbed out because of my beauty, just simply because I'm just being myself. See, simply because. And as I said before, they're both the same two wings of the same bird, dirty bird. They're the same thing, to zap out power and energy out of you so you can be a sort of modern day slave, because the robots are coming. And if you want a room and board, you go to jail. Okay, they're not going to treat you well in there. I was there one time, by accident, of course, by doing the right thing. And they saw that and they let me out. They didn't let me stay in there. I am not some guy that's supposed to be in there. There are some blacks who are well known and basically they get caught up in the system too. It happens all of the time. Mistakes do happen until you get the right connections. The universe will come to you. And as I say, another thing too, even though they may be white racist, they don't understand this curse until later on, until their next life. They will be black in their next life to understand how it feels to be the color black, just because their color was black. They can have all the intellectual in the world, and they're judged because they were born a certain shade. That's shallow, isn't it? But there are people like that. They don't have no empathy. They're just racist. They just look down on all those type of people. Once they have a closed mind, and you have a closed mind to say, we black people should stay together because the color of our skin, you automatically opt out. You will be reborn. He will be reborn as a white person. And then he'll be like, oh, I love black people because of the color. He's going to be doing the same thing as every race have their own attribute. That's why we're supposed to be humans, to combine ourselves. And if you don't do that, as in a humanitarian way, we all going to suffer anyway. The planet suffers, okay? And as I said before, we all was brought here to this planet. You got to understand something here. There's something more than just humans on this goddamn planet, guys. Once you keep thinking outside that goddamn box, oh, black and white, you are being distracted from yourself. What did Michael Jackson sing? He said they don't really care about us. Of course the demons don't care about us because they're ignorant. They need to be dissected. And they won't last for long anyway. Okay, they need a body. Okay, like the body snatchers or skinwalkers. They need a body to fit in. And they cause chaos because they are such a miserable bunch of individuals. They do not have a bright soul. They'll just be reborn. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. That's correct. The word nothing is way beyond eternity. Okay? All right? Because you can't understand it because we don't exist. Because when you don't exist, time doesn't exist. You don't exist. You only exist in a blink of a moment, in a blink of time, which you cannot calculate because everything is moving so slow, but so fast at the same time. It is moving at a certain rate that you cannot understand. You cannot fathom reality as what you think. Just watch The Matrix. And if you watch The Matrix, you'll understand what reality is. It's that simple. I thought about The Matrix before it even came out. Time does not exist. It's an illusion that it does exist. And it's already been proven by scientists. Even when you observe something, it doesn't stay in the same fraction of time and space and the solidification of something as you look at it. But when you turn your eye away, it turns into something completely different. There's a different frequency, guys. All right? So these are facts. You can look that shit up yourself. What do you call it? It was called the split cycle or something like that, where they was trying to observe something, but when they looked away, it basically changed into something completely different. And they didn't understand why it was changing while they was not looking. Okay? Understand that reality is just the matrix itself. Science actually already proven everything I'm saying is correct. Okay? But you guys are still fucking focused on these fucking colors and democracy and Republican Tea Party. They all gonna be reborn. It doesn't matter. Okay, they're gonna be reborn. Try to avoid that shit. To be a coward actually means that you have more protection. Okay, it's better, like David Icke said. He says, better to be the quiet lion than to rather just be in the roaring lion, because you will be shot down. Okay, it doesn't matter for any species or anything. Anything that's destroying something, it will have to be destroyed. It will have to be destroyed. All right, everything eventually dies. That's why we take these physical bodies. But if you're in a form of energy, your energy can be used. It can be used. Hypothetically, anything can be used if someone has the knowledge to take it. But other than that, that's all I really got to say, guys. Because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And you know the thing I heard, what this Asian man said one time, he said that, why do black people need reparations when they're so beautiful? That was the most nicest compliment I've ever heard from Asian people. Light-skinned people love black people. I'm just going to tell you like it is. All right? Like white people love black people. I have encountered racists before, and I even tried to manipulate the tactics. And I used to be a personal care aide. And this one cracker told me, I told him, he didn't really, he was a racist, straight up. And I said, I didn't want to be black. See? And you say, for real? So I told him I hate myself. I was just fucking with me. I was just playing around. Okay. I was patronizing them. I said, yeah, I didn't like black people. I hated them motherfuckers. Though in reality, I don't like lowly niggers. I just don't. Okay. But I'm not no Uncle Ruckus. I'm not no Uncle Ruckus. Okay. Because I understand psychology. But the thing is that I believe white and black need some sort of discipline. It's not just blacks. Okay. Okay, there are also whites, okay, that need some discipline too as well. So when I was playing the psychological game, he was like my friend for a little bit. He was like, yeah, I hate them. Yeah, I just want to murk them all. I was acting. I even did this with feminists. I said, yeah, women are way better than men. I was acting. And then I could see what they were thinking in their head. Like, yo, they want to be violated. They just want to feel special. Everybody feels special until they get punched in the face, right? And then you don't tell them facts because they are in constant cognitive dissonance. People are in denial every fucking day. People are in denial every fucking day. When you tell them about the truth about religion, they don't want to hear it. When you tell them about the stuff about color, they don't want to hear it. They don't tell you about the color of science or anything, they don't want to hear it. Even if you show them in front of them, they don't want to hear it. So why convince an NPC? You cannot convince an NPC or EDB, like they used to call it back in those days, okay? Emotional douchebags, okay? All right? Other than that, so please try not to get so involved in society so much. You're supposed to be thinking inward rather than outward, but so many people are thinking outward, they don't have the time to think inward. They don't understand that there's nature out there where they could live off the grid. Because I've seen some people live off the grid and they live in luxuriously because they know how to control themselves, okay? They know how to control themselves. But other than that, that's all I gotta say about that, guys. You know, you can't be getting so wrapped up. You're owed money. You're entitled. Get out of that, man. What is wrong? What is wrong? Stop putting labels on fucking race, okay? Stop doing that. When you're born, you're gonna be born as something that is in your lowest common denominator. The thing you hate the most is what you are going to be. That is what it said. I'm not saying it's factual though. But if you're an evil person and then you saw yourself, had a near-death experience and you went to hell, that was in your mind all along because you know you're an evil person. You know that. Like me, I don't believe in God or Satan. I know that's a fact, and that's what's happening. I'm not going to hell because I'm completely innocent. Innocent children just don't go to hell. They don't go there. That's impossible, especially when you ask God to come to you and he never did. Then you ask Jesus to come to you, he never did. Devil never came to you and he never did. Now, some things may happen in coincidence and you know, like as soon as you start praying to that thing and then something happens, but that's coincidence. It's not always going to happen. Okay, like I always pray to be rich so I can get the fuck away from other people. You think I'm rich yet? No, I want me a house on the hill and I don't want to be bothered at all. Living in the woods and give you my information from afar. And I can't be tracked, okay? And that's what I want. I want to be protected so I don't have to worry about shit trying to fuck with me and this and that. And I'm trying to help. That's all I want to do. But do you understand? Has it happened yet? It may happen. Maybe there is a spiritual being out there that's trying to help me. I don't know. But you got to understand, it will happen eventually. If it don't happen in this life, it will happen in the next. And I believe in karma. So if the more you suffer in this life, the more disciplined you are, the more blessings you'll get. Hypothetically speaking. Everything is a hypothetical. You don't know shit, okay? You don't know shit. People quit always saying, you know, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know if that sun is goddamn real. You don't know if you look through a telescope. You see it, but that don't make it real, though. See, people don't understand the difference between real evidence, even though you be there, that may not even be real. Understand that. You could, everything is illusionary. It's like illusionary. It's like as soon as you look at it, you see it in front of you. You may see an object, but that don't make it real. Just watch the Matrix. It's a synapses in your head that's telling you that you're holding something. We're in a simulation, a real life simulation. And the moon, David Icke said, the moon is the storage information capacity. Isn't that something? What we see out there is what it is. We are in a Matrix style world. Okay. And I don't think no one can be like Neo though, because he believes strongly that he could not die. Okay, but I don't believe it goes that far at all. Okay, because me, I wanted to die a few times, and I did not die. So maybe that's the reason. Okay, I don't know how it works, but once you tap into that heart of yours and that mentality of yours, and you say you can't die, then you might not die. But you may be born with that genetic disposition or advantage, okay? And then you may live, and then you get caught up by the aliens, and they be like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And then they'll just question you for the rest of your life. You say, I don't know, I was just born with it. And then they dissect you. They dissect you. They torture you because they want to be a part of that too. This has happened before. This has happened before when the humans was looking up at the gods and said, we want to be like you. Nah, you can't. You're not. It's not your time. It's not your time to be like that. One time the earth got destroyed because humans tried to attack a demiurge god that came down to the planet. And this happened over millions of years ago, before the white man. They say the Asian man come from the third planet from some star, okay, some area. And then they say the African people came from this planet. We didn't all come from his planet. We was bought here. All right, so get it clear in your head. This planet does not belong to us. We were brought here. All right, but I'm sucking all hypotheticals. I don't know shit. I don't even know if I was born from my own mother, even though I kind of look like my mom. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's a simulation, peoples. Wake the fuck up and stop thinking, oh, I'm part of that group. Okay, I'm part of that group. No, everybody is a part of some group. You will evolve and you will change. Things change. What time is it? Okay, y'all. And you have to come to realize that. Okay, you have to understand this is a pandemonium world and anything goes because they say you came here. We say, what I hear is they say, they also said we all came here. We were also part of us was brought here. Whole simulation game. But you only get one life. Not like a real video game. You get one life. But in this game, it's called rebirth. Reincarnation. Alright? You get all these chances and you keep being reincarnated because you didn't learn a lesson before. There you go. That is the type of life you get. Unlimited lives until you learn the purpose of this reality. And y'all have a nice day because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And y'all have a nice day. Get out of that democracy shit. Get out of that Republican type shit. Sorry, focus on how you can survive on your own in the wilderness. Then you will become free. Alright? Because you're already free. As a matter of fact, try your best to understand that you're in the best country in the world, America, with this freedom of speech and freedom of rights. That's how Trump got in office in the first place. Because his freedom of speech was being blocked. And this country was founded with white people and Native Americans, not Africans. And so you have to deal with that shit because you're living in the best country. I lived in Ethiopia for 2 years. I can tell you right now. Okay, if they want to wipe out Africa, they easily can. If they can, but they love Africa, so they didn't destroy it. They tried to colonize certain parts. The Italians tried to, Russians tried to, but they said, nah, we can't do this. So we love Africans. We've been fucking over there. Okay, so whatever. Okay, so please understand that. Since Africa still exists, which they say is the biggest continent, understand this. Africans are still not dead, okay? And it's all in your goddamn head that if you don't think America is the greatest of all time, okay? Even though it could be the wickedest. They have the best of both worlds. So travel. Follow the rules and regulations and travel. Get yourself some discipline and travel like I have. I traveled all across different places in the world. At least 3-4 places. That guys gotta stop complaining and shit. Stop complaining. Y'all be complaining about bullshit. I'm like, why are you complaining, man? You're in the best country in the world to do it. And you're thinking about black, white, Pan-Africanism, religion. Get the fuck out of that, man. Become privatized. Start focusing in on yourself. Don't be greedy, okay? And if you do get greedy, you better give it up, okay? You better start doing that. You don't want that on your conscience when you die. It's called karmic, universal energy, karma or dharma. You call it whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you're doing too much of, not good. Okay, not good. Other than that, that's all I gotta say, guys. And y'all have a nice day. Peace.